Well, hello, hello. It's so good to be back. I know I've been sort of missing off of StreamYard for a couple of weeks, I guess, but that's just because life is busy. Life is really busy. Hey, Esther, good to see you here. So glad that you guys made time to hang out with me a little bit. This is very random, guys. And usually my best stuff comes when it's kind of random. Something just came down the chute this morning, and I said, okay, we got to talk about this. I was thinking about, hey, Christina. When I got up this morning, I was thinking about, this is November. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but, November's got the double ones going on. And we got, hey, MK. So we've got, double ones going on. We've got, that is significant all by itself. People who are born on November 11th, hugely significant. So I don't know. I just felt like I needed to talk about the number one today. So, I tend to kind of gravitate towards the energetically sensitive, right? So that would include, of course, the 11s, right? And this is not specific to 11s for those of you who are watching here, but it is indicative of the energy related to the 11s. So 11 is, of course, made up of two ones, right? So the number one in itself relates to the way that you physically express yourself, how people see you, so to speak. So it's how you use your body to express yourself. So are you someone who's big and outrageous and out there, right? Having a lot of confidence, or are you someone that's kind of meek and mild and kind of shy? Well, in your date of birth, and you might want to write this down, in your date of birth, you're likely going to have some ones in there, okay? The number of number ones in your date of birth is very indicative of how comfortable or how uncomfortable you're going to be about expressing yourself. So the number one, of course, is a very egoic number, right? It's all about number one. So when we look at the number one, we realize that this has got a lot of energy to it. It packs a punch. But hey, Gabby, but it has a lot to do with, again, how we express ourselves. So there's some really good indicators in there. And I've been doing some readings for some people recently. And maybe it's just because their birthdays are in November, but the ones born on November 11th are really having their asses kicked. Okay. So it's tough. When you've got, for example, you got 4 number ones in your date of birth, that can be really tough. So, the number of number ones in your date of birth is going to give us a clue as to how you are comfortable, how comfortable you are about expressing yourself, or how uncomfortable you are about expressing yourself. Maybe you need to work on that a little bit more. So this is actually kind of a neat tool when I think about this. And again, I apologize, guys. I'm a little bit random here today because this is a random message. It's just coming down live and in person for you guys. So when we look at a date of birth, there's so much we can tell about a person just by looking at the date of birth, right? You can tell, what their talents are, what their gifts are, what their lessons are, what's supposed to be happening for them this year, what the themes are. There's just so much that can be told. We can talk about sub lessons, there's all kinds of stuff we can talk about in there. But I thought it was kind of an interesting exercise. And if you guys are keen on what I'm about to talk about, then I'm happy to go through the other numbers as well at a later date, right? But there's a lot to cover right now. So Karen's just put her date of birth up. So you get 3 number ones there. Okay, that's significant, right? Very significant. So we'll talk about that. We're going to break these down for you. So if you've got 1 number one or 2 number ones, 3 number ones, 4 number ones, it's all significant, and it will tell us an awful lot about who you are. So the number one in itself, we should kind of go over that. What does the number one imply? Well, the number one, of course, relates to independence, originality, creativity, authenticity, being number one, being that leader, being somebody who needs to learn how to be independent rather than codependent. There's all that kind of stuff is wrapped up into the ones. So again, dependent upon how many ones are sitting in your date of birth will have a lot to do with how you express yourself. So ones really need to be able to express themselves freely. But I titled this talk, Are You Feeling Misunderstood? And there's a lot of you on here today, so I'm assuming that some of you are feeling a little misunderstood. Maybe you can give me a show of hands there. The thing with the ones is quite often those with the ones in there, they feel like, what's the point? Why would I even try to express myself? I'm not from here anyways. This isn't my planet. I'm not from around here. I mean, I don't feel like I connect with people. I try, I've tried since I was a little kid, but I just can't seem to make a difference. I can't make any headway People just kind of reject me. They don't get me. They don't see me. They don't hear me, all that kind of stuff. And it's related to the ones or the lack of ones in your date of birth. Okay, so let's go through the rundown. I had to make myself some notes here, guys, so I'm going to rely on them a little bit. So if your date of birth includes just one number one, this is where we have a person who will often have difficulty expressing themselves. Okay, now think about that. The more ones we have, sometimes that will work in our favor and cause us to feel like we can express ourselves more easily. But this is difficulty in verbal expression. It's difficult for them to come up with clear explanations as to how they're actually feeling, and it's difficult for them to really connect with people. So sometimes these people will say something entirely off base, right? It's not even necessarily something they believe in. It's just that's what they choose to say, and it's like a defense mechanism. It's keeping people away from them because they're not feeling secure. Because the number one, of course, is about confidence as well, right? So if you're lacking in ones, you might be lacking in confidence as well. So what they believe may not be in alignment with what they say. Okay, so they need to learn to think before they speak, and to avoid being overly reactional. Right. So somebody who just has number one in their date of birth can be somebody who's very quick to respond kind of thing. And then afterwards, like, oh shit, probably shouldn't have said that, or they might be very defensive because they don't want to be seen. And when we talk about the 11, the energy of the master number 11, you got the double ones in there. The 11s, I often say, will put on a mask of conformity, right? They'll pop on that mask of conformity. Why? Because they have such huge expectations for themselves. They're afraid that they're not going to measure up. So it's more comfortable for them to pop on this mask of conformity so that people will see them for who they want you to see them as. The 11s are notorious for dropping their vibration so that they can connect on a level that they think we want them to be, right? So they'll sacrifice who they are. Rather than staying up here, they lower their vibration because they lack that confidence. They don't want people to see them because what happens if they judge them? What happens if they reject them, right? And that causes people to be a little nervous, those who have the ones. So they're dropping that vibration so that they can be met here. And then they complain, well, people don't get me. They don't understand me. I don't know. I just can't make these connections. I'm always by myself. I'm really lonely. I'm like, yeah, okay. You've got the mask on. They are responding to your mask, right? So you got to take that mask off so people can actually see who you are. But that takes a lot of confidence. That doesn't happen overnight. All right, let's talk about those who have a birth date with two number ones in there. So those who have the two number ones in there are probably the most balanced, the most emotionally balanced, maybe the most fortunate in terms of those who have ones in their birth date, because they are able to see both sides to a situation. They can see both sides of that coin. They have a tendency to be a little bit better balanced. They can be a little bit more of a mediator, peacekeeper. There's somebody who's very, very comfortable with being in a controversial situation. So for example, let's say you got two kids, right? And they're fighting and you're taking one child's side because you just feel that child is right. Okay. But all of a sudden the other child is making a cause, right? And they're kind of putting their cause out there saying, all right, this is kind of what's going on. And you're looking at that going, well, you know what? He's got a valid point there too. So now you got to kind of maybe switch sides. Or just not switch sides at all, but say, hey, okay, so there's a valid point here, there's a valid point here, and you're doing this, right? So you're really good. If you get the two ones in there, you're really good at being able to see both sides to a situation. You're very equitable, you're very fair, you're very much somebody who is a peacekeeper, but you're somebody who also can be a little judgmental, right? You can be someone who's a little bit judging a person who doesn't have the two ones, looking at them a little bit unfavorably. So don't get on your high horse kind of thing just because you're the one that can see both sides of a situation, right? So really, the double ones are probably the most fortunate. Hang tight before I talk about the four number ones. Four number ones have a really tough go. Not impossible, but it's a little bit more challenging. If a birth date has three number ones, these are the ones that can be one way or the other, right? They're either people who are extremely chatty, talkative, friendly, social, creative, anything goes. They're very optimistic and they're fun to be around. A little scattered, but they're, gotta love them. They're just a lot of fun. Or they can be the absolute polar opposite of that. Someone who's very quiet and very introspective, very shy, just can't put themselves out there. They need to feel comfortable before they're sharing who they really are, before they can show you genuinely who they are. Because remember, the ones are always about authenticity, originality. They aspire to that. They admire that. The ones have a tendency to kind of say to the person who's got the purple hair and the green nail polish or whatever, something really outlandish, they're looking at them going, wow, that's cool. I wish I had the courage to put myself out there in that outlandish kind of a way, right? They really like that. So that's, but they have a hard time sometimes appreciating that for themselves, because the ones are supposed to be standing alone. The ones are supposed to be standing on their own, but there is a part of them that also really enjoys partnership as well, right? Because you can't be on the island by yourself all the time and hope to survive. So, but those who have the 3 number ones are often really great writers. They sometimes feel a bit more comfortable expressing themselves to paper, very intuitive, very insightful. The 1 is the visionary, right? So there's that. Now, when we look at the 4 number ones, these guys, they really, I feel like there's somebody in here that just said that they had 4 ones in here. Don't know who that was. Sorry, must have missed it. But anyway, 4 number ones, they tend to run on high octane. They tend to be extremely nervous, a lot of anxiety going on, right? It's like they're always kind of on the lookout for how they might be judged. So their image, remember, this is an egoic number. The number 1 is an egoic number. So the image becomes very important to them. They don't want to look stupid. They don't want to look ill-informed. They don't want to be caught off guard. They want to know what's going on all the time. So they feel really, really misunderstood, like they are very much alone. People just don't get them. They have a hard time plugging in. So relationships for them sometimes can be difficult. It's only when they feel really comfortable in a relationship with with a significant other are they able to kind of risk and let themselves be seen, right? I have a family member who's got 4 ones, and it's almost exhausting to spend time with this person because their energy is just like going all the time. And it's like, oh, it's really, really difficult to be in the company of this person at times. They feel like, why should I even bother to express myself? I've tried for years. Nobody gets me. Part of that is quite often that the vision that they have is just so out there that nobody can keep up, right? They just can't connect the dots to what it is they see for themselves. So, so they can feel very lonely. They tend to be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very opinionated. So they can kind of push people away. They can be very assertive. They can be a little bit aggressive at times, maybe a little on the narcissistic side, a little controlling. There's any number of ways. They tend to prefer to work by themselves rather than in the group dynamic, because there's that 4 number ones there that 4 times the need, quadruple time the need to express themselves on their level, right? And with originality and creativity and that sort of thing. So they have to really learn how to accept their emotions without judgment, learn how to breathe, because they tend to be really shallow breathers. Learning how to accept everybody else's point of view as well, right? They're not just the only ones on the planet, even though they feel like that. These guys, honestly, they feel like they are isolated from everyone else. I know Dr. Gale often talks about this, possibly being an alien, right? Because they feel alienated from the people on the planet, right? So if anybody's there's got 4 ones in there, I'd be kind of curious to see who you are. So maybe we can share some light for you there. So very inward, very self-involved, sometimes very difficult for them to see the other side of the picture, right? So Esther, you've got 4 ones. Okay. So you've got a big need, assuming that your first name on your birth certificate is Esther, spelled Ester. You've got a big need for your freedom too. So it's difficult for you sometimes to connect to people because there's a part of you that goes, I don't know if I want to because I want my freedom, right? And yet I feel like you want to make a bigger difference as well, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Amber's asking, if I'm a master number 11 with a birthday on the 10th, does that give me 3 1s? So you have to actually take your date of birth, Amber, and break it out. So for example, somebody born on November 11th, 2002, that person would have 4 number 1s in their date of birth. So in this case, Cynthia, in your case, you've got 2 number 1s. So you're one of the people that are a little bit more balanced. You can see different different sides to the equation kind of thing. You can be that peacekeeper. You're a really good listener, very sensitive to the needs of others, that sort of thing. Yeah. 1, 9, 10, 15, 17, 19, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're a straight up 4. So you're somebody who really likes discipline. You like to know what's going on. You don't really want to be too surprised. You're very grounded, right? But security is really important to you. So you like to kind of know what's going on and not have too many surprises, that kind of thing. Speaking of what's going on, I wanted to mention to you guys too, while I've got you here, I don't know if you all know about, I have an annual event that I do every year. That's why we call it an annual event. And it's called 6 Psychics Under One Roof. It's going to be December the 11th at 3 p.m. Let me just get this up here for you. It's going to be on at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday, December 11th. And tickets are available. We've got a few tickets left, although I have to say I'm surprised they're selling out actually rather quickly. So you can just go to my website and check it out. But I've got 6 psychics under one roof all at one time. So the deal is we're all going to be talking about what the heck's coming up in 2023 for all of us, as globally, right? So I've got Tira Whitford, who's a master empath, an amazing animal communicator, and a phenomenal psychic. She's going to be with us. I've got Laura Warren. So if you know Laura, she's just over the top. She's a psychic medium. She has been a featured I don't want to say this. I want to say a rock star because she is a rock star, but she had her own show on AMI for a couple of years there. So she's been on television quite a bit. So we have Laura, who's going to express what she feels is coming up for 2023. We've got Susan Saucier, who's a spiritual life coach and a medium. We've got Annette Dalu, who's an Akashic record reader. Blows my socks off every time I get a session with her. Fiona Black, same thing. She's a transformational coach, extreme psychic. She really gets to the heart of what's going on with you. And myself, numerologist, soul coach, Ann Perry. That's me. So we're all going to be all under one roof. So we'll all give kind of 10 minutes of what we feel is coming up for 2023. And then we're opening up the floor. It's on a Zoom call like this. Well, it's a StreamYard, but it's going to be on Zoom, where you're actually going to be able to talk to these psychics. It's $47, right? So to be able to spend 2 hours with, or 2 hours plus, depending on how long we go, but it'll be a minimum of 2 hours. You can ask questions to whichever psychics you want, and we'll do what we can to get them answered. So you might want to check that out. It's AnnPerryNumerologist.com, 6 psychics under one roof. Check it out. All right, let's go back to some questions here. Savannah's your brother's number is a 1 life path number. Awesome. Cool. Anybody else have a question with regards to how many 1s? You get Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany, good to see you. I'm a 16-7 in my 16-7 essence, and holy moly, it's intense. Yes, girlfriend. Health issues, spiritual awakening, even deeper. Wowzers, I'm in it until my birthday next year in August. Any advice? Trust. Did I say trust? Tiffany, you got to trust, right? This is what you got to do. The 16-7 is a tough essence. For those of you who don't know about essences, most numerologists never even talk about this stuff. And honestly, that's one of the biggest things I focus on when I do readings for people, is to find out, okay, so you're in a whatever. If you're in a 7 personal year, for example, I want to know, how are you going to go through that? Because a 7 is a 7 is a 7. It's the same for me. It's the same for you. It's the same for your neighbor, right? 7 is the same for everybody. 6 is the same for everybody. But how you personally go through it is dictated by how your name appears on your birth certificate. So you and I could be in the same personal year at the same time, and we're going to have a very different experience because your birth name is different than mine, right? So that's what I look at when I'm looking at somebody's reading. If I want to help them to really figure out what the heck's going on, if you're in a dark, crappy hole, when did you go in it and when are you coming out? I can see that on a chart, and it's pretty cool. That's why I got involved in numerology in the first place. So the 16-7 is the crash, burn, and learn essence, where you kind of do a bit of a face plant, because Spirit is up there going, hey, Tiffany, I kind of have your soul's contract right here, and I'd love to let you know what you need to do to get through this crappy time. And you're like, nah, I've got it. I'm good. But no, seriously, we can help you out here. We have the contract. You left it behind the day you were born. We have a contract right here. And you're like, nah, it's okay. I'm good. I'll call you if I need you, though. And you keep on driving all by yourself. And they're like, fine, bring in the wrecking ball. Let's do this. Boom, down she goes, face plant, right? You know how it feels. So that essence of the 16-7 is not unlike, the description of the Tower card in the tarot deck, where the tower's coming crashing down. Lightning has hit it. Everybody's jumping to their death. It is the rise and the fall of the ego. Spirit is saying, E.T., call home. Right? I don't care what the divine is to you, but you've got to make a bigger effort to make a bigger connection to Spirit. And it sounds to me like you're doing that. The health issues, that's a whole different ball of wax. In my community, the Clarity Seekers community, there is actually a masterclass in there that talks about the numerological connection to your illness, which you might find, if you're not a member, you check it out, because it's really, really fascinating, interesting stuff. There it is. Boom. Clarity Seekers community. If you want to connect with me live every month, 5 to 6 times a month, it's $22 a month, and you can do that and cancel whenever you want. But it's a great community. We teach numerology in there 4 times a month live. We have guest speakers in there. I get some really, did I say really, really cool stuff coming up in the new year. So anyway, I'm hoping that helps, Tiffany. Just make sure that you're putting your best effort out there to surrender and trust and understand that all things are happening for divine perfection. And every single person who goes through the 16-7 essence is always 100% better after having gone through it. I'm the poster child. I should know. I am a 16-7, so you can take it from me. Here's a hug for you, because I know it's tough. Okay, let's see. Am I 2 1s, or am I adding each component? So MK defined. Let's see. 1, 2. You've got 2 number 1s. Again, you're the balanced one, right? You're the one that's the equitable one, sees things from both sides of the situation. Okay. I'm honestly, Tula, I can't answer that question because I really don't know. I wish I could, but I can't. Don't know anything about Tesla number. To spend 22. Yeah, they can definitely be overwhelming at times. The lessons can be, but they're always there for a good reason. 1 9 is 10, 18, 24, 6, 28, 29. So to spend 22, you're actually a 2911. So you might want to check out my video on YouTube. What does it mean to be a 2911 life path number? And it can be difficult for sure, because the 9 is sitting in there, right? And that 9 is all about being the empath. Bad enough you're an 11. In terms of challenges, it's not a bad thing to be 11. Of course it's not, but it's just, it's challenging. But the fact that you've got that 9 in there makes it a little bit more intense, being that 2911, because you feel everybody's stuff and you just want to fix everything to make the pain stop, your pain and their pain. And the fact that you were born on the 22nd day, of course, brings in that extra little value-added bonus of being the master number 22, which can be challenging all by itself, because you feel like you're intended to create something, something for humanity, to improve humanity on some level. You feel like you need to do that, but you're not here to do that by yourself. Right? That's the thing you have to remember. Being born on the 22nd day, or having a 22 life path number, or being born in 1984, that's for 22. If you've got a 22 somewhere in your chart, you'll feel like you're the one that's supposed to make the big difference and create that big foundation that's going to support humanity in some way. But remember, it's a 22. There are 2 2s in 22. That means partnership, collaboration, teamwork. It's gathering people together to support you on the vision that you see for humanity. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. Let's see. On this number, I came online. Okay, no problem, Terry. What we're talking about today is the number 1 and how many number 1s actually show up in your date of birth. So, for example, if you're born on November 21st, 1959, you have 3 number 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're born November 21st, 1959, you've got 4 number 1s. So that means something specific. So you're going to kind of have to watch the replay to learn what that's all about. Yeah, Savannah. Yes, absolutely. Your life path 8 dealing with a lot of bad and good karmic lessons. Yeah, I'm glad that you see it that way, because a lot of 8s might not see it that way because it can be really tough as well. But it really boils down to understanding your own personal self-worth and finding ways to stand in your power and to show people how they too can be empowered. Be the one that is the one that's showing people how to do that, right? So. So Cheney, you were born on June 21st, 46. 1 and 9 is 10. So that's 2, 3 is 5. Yeah, you're straight up 11. Okay. Which means that your sub lessons relate to the double ones. Okay. So when we take your date of birth, we're going to break it down independently, right? So June comes down as a 6. The 21st day, add 2 and 1 together, it comes down as a 3. When we add 1946 together, it comes as 20, and 2 plus 0 equals 2. So now we're going to add 6 plus 3 plus 2 equals 11. So that means that your sub lessons are related to the double ones. Okay, so that's a double the need to be creative, double the need to be authentic, original, a leader, a self-starter. It doesn't always come easily because those are your sub lessons, right? So, but it's in an effort to put all that out there. And then the 2 says, I need partnership. I need to be in partnership. Partnership's very important to me. So there's a part like the double ones, that's the masculine vibration. The one is like we've been talking about today. That's the masculine egoic energy that says, I must push. I must be successful. I must make it happen. I must be that leader. I must be that self-starter. I'm going to do it all. Push, 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 push. But then the question is, how far can I push before people reject me? And at the end of the day, I'm an 11, which makes me a 2. And the 2 says, I need partnership, right? So you're always kind of jockeying between how far can I push before I can actually find the balance in my life, because the 2 is all about balance. So I've got tons of videos out there on Master 11s if you want to check them out on YouTube. In your case, Esther, 1 and 9 is 10, 15, 17, 19. 1 and 1, 11, 12, 30. Your life path number actually is very interesting. Geez, I'd love to do your chart. Your life path number is very interesting. It's actually a 13-4, which brings in that karmic debt, and you were born on the 19th day, which brings in yet another karmic debt. So that's kind of cool. So the 13-4 has typically seems to experience a lot of obstacles in their life. And how you choose to respond to the obstacle is what is definitely going to determine your reality, right? Because how we choose to respond always creates the reality that we're living. Yeah, you do have those 2 karmic debts, and I do have videos on YouTube on karmic debts, so you may want to check those out, or schedule some time with me and we can go through it, because that's a full plate. You got a lot going on in there. Okay. Prince Charming's mom. I love that. That's a great handle. That's awesome. Okay, so I didn't know our conversation was going to go this way today, but let's look at it. 1, 2, 3. So you've got 3 ones, Prince Charming's mom. You have 3 number 1s going on in your date of birth. So that brings in somebody who's either very chatty, very vocal, very social, that sort of thing. Or you could be somebody who's very shy and reserved and not really comfortable to put yourself out there. But your life path number, let's see, 1 and 9 is 10, 17, 21, that's 3, that's 14, 21. You're a 21-3, Prince Charming's mom. So you're working on the sub lessons of the 2 and the 1 to be the best 3 you can be. So the 2 relates to learning how to be patient, how to be a partner, how to play nice in the sandbox. The 1 relates to you tapping into your creative potential and your leadership potential so that you can be that really strong 3 that you want to be. Nancy, let's see. 1, 2, 3. You also have the 3 1s going on there. 1964. That's 2. That's 13. That's your 20. In my opinion, Nancy, you would be a 20/2. Okay, because the way that I do the calculations is. I don't want to say it's different. There's several ways you can do the calculations. And really, at the end of the day, you really have to tap into what feels right for you. Okay. So my opinion is that when we break your date of birth down, November is an 11. We leave that alone as a full number, right? Whole number. 25th day, we're going to break that down to a 7. And then 1964 adds up to 20, and 2 plus 0 equals 2. So if it were me, I would be saying 11 plus 7 plus 2 equals 20. So 2 and 0 / 2. So check out my video that says, if you just go into my search engine on the YouTube channel, type in difference, just the word difference, and it'll come up. There's a video I created that talks about the difference between being an 11 and being a 20 / 2. But having said that, Nancy, if you do your life path number up and you say, no, Ann, I feel like I'm a 2911, then that's who you are. It's not about me being right, guys. It's never about me being right. It's about helping you to connect the dots to the contract that you wrote for yourself. Okay. I can't prove my theory is right. It feels right to me. Can't prove that it's right, nor can another person who says their method is right. So really it boils down to you tapping in intuitively to what feels right for you. Okay. Hurricane, I hope that you were here right from the beginning, because I talked a lot about duplicate ones. Okay. What can you tell me about November 11th, 1957? You have 5 number ones in there. Difficulty being seen, being heard, being understood, being accepted, having confidence to be able to express yourself, because there's a part of you that says, nobody's listening anyways. They don't get me. I'm on a whole different plane. So why would I even bother trying to express myself? But it's important to express yourself, because all those ones in there say that I have to be original. I have to be authentic. I hope you're writing. I really do hope that you're writing, because that's important. 1 9 is 10, 15, 22, 33. Is that right? 22, 44. You were 44, 8. 1 1, 1 1, 19, 57. 1 9 is 10, 15, 22. 2 3 4. Yeah, you're 44, 8. Very unusual life path number, Hurricane 4CE1. Extremely unusual. I'd love to see your chart. That's a mittful. Just saying. So maybe at some point in time you'll connect with me, because I really would love to help you with that, because there's a lot in there. Okay. Yes, I'm good. I'm glad that speaks to you. Didn't know at first what I was doing. Yeah, well, that's good. Savannah, I'm glad that you're on the way. That's good. I know you've been following me for a while, so hopefully some of these videos and such have been sort of helpful, or you're getting the resources somewhere. That's awesome. Glad to hear that. Prince Charming's about chatty here. Awesome. Love it. Created altar, ancestors helping me through it, whether business, family, karma, and lesson. Okay. Awesome. Now, let me just go back here. You're looking for your collaborator, Cheney. That's, oh, I love that you're looking for your collaborator. I just finished doing that with Oliver Rolfe. I helped him to write a book. There's a video on that on YouTube. You can check it out. But a holistic guide to healing, and it included numerology. So I wrote the numerology portion of it, or helped him to write it anyway. So I collaborated on that effort. That's pretty neat. I know Spirit keeps saying, Ann Perry, when are you going to start writing your book? And I'm like, I don't know. Man, I've got a message from a friend today saying, I'd love to be your accountability buddy so that you'll finally get this book written. I'm like, yeah, okay. No pressure here on Monday morning. All good. It's all good. So you're welcome, Tiffany. Okay. Vernie 444. August. I'm assuming that's August 10th, because you haven't written in a way that I can tell whether that's October or that's the 8th day or whatever. But either way, we got 1 9 is 10, 16. That's a 7. That's an 8, 8, 16. Yeah. So you are, either way you slice your dice, that you are a 16-7. Join my world. I am a 16-7 as well. So the 16-7s, we have a lot to learn about trust and learning how to surrender in the process of things, learning how not to control it, learning how to step away and tap into something bigger than ourselves. We are the epitome of the rise and the fall of the ego. We have a tendency to blow up our worlds occasionally. That could include marriages, not uncommon. Very, very, very common for a 16-7 to have gone through a divorce. And if it's not a divorce of somebody, then it might be a divorce of a job or a career or something of that nature. But 16-7s, we're spiritual teachers, and we do learn by repeated lessons over and over and over again. And that we're meant to take those lessons and to learn something from them and share your experiences with other people. Because you'll notice on my videos, I tend to share a lot of myself, and it's not ever to make it about me, but it's because I believe that I am a channel. And every time something weird or woggy or wonderful, or maybe not so wonderful, happens, it's like, wow, what can I share from this? How can I help people to rise above their issues, because I've just gone through it? That's what I'm always looking for, that opportunity, right? So that's, hopefully that helps you to be able to see that. Okay, let me just see. Cheney says, I know I have known since I was a child that I was supposed to write, but creative writing is not my forte. Younger folks tell me they wish me to write my story. Oh, well, that's neat. Nothing wrong with that. I think our stories are the most interesting stories to tell, because who knows them better than ourselves, right? You're welcome, Savannah. November 4th, 1976. Kimberly, welcome to the talk. So we have, excuse me, November 4th of 1976. So what I would suggest you do, take November as a master number 11, leave that alone. The fourth day is a single digit. That's fine. We leave that alone. 1976, 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 7 is 17, plus 6 is 23, and 2 and 3 equal 5. So 11 plus 4 is 15, plus 5 is 20. So you are, in my opinion, life path number 20/2. What's interesting about your life path number, Kimberly, is that you've got that 0 in there, okay? 20/2. That's significant. A lot of numerologists don't talk about it, but it's very significant because the 0 says, I'm here to work through my intuitive gifts. I know I'm intuitive. I'm meant to find a way to do that. Does that mean learning astrology, possibly doing numerology, looking at angel cards, tarot cards, that sort of thing? Be that spiritual messenger. Tap into that. Use your pendulum, whatever you can, to tap into the divine. It's really important that you do that. I'm just going to pop this up for a second because I want everybody to know about this. Again, if you're just tuning in a little bit later, I want you to know we have the annual event coming up on December 11th. We are halfway through our tickets, right? There's only 100 people left, or 100 people left. There's only 100 seats available for this event, and we are more than half through already. So if you want your ticket, you've got to get your ticket very soon. It's going to be December the 11th, 3 p.m. Eastern time, 6 psychics all under one roof, all ready to talk to you for $47, right? When we'll be on for 2 hours plus, however long it takes for us to get through the questions. And lots of people have questions about 2023 and what the heck's going to be happening for them. So that's the link to get onto that into that program. All right, let's see what else we got going on. Namaste. Let's take a look. 1961. So you're one of those balanced ones again. I like that. 1 9 is 10, 16, 17. That's 8, and that's 19. You're 22/4. Wow, born on the 29th day. That's a mitful for sure. And what you were doing the day you signed up for that. I'm just teasing you. But I know that this challenge is there for sure. You're highly intuitive. You're very sensitive. You have a big need to make a difference while you're here. God bless you. You know, you really are very, you're very much the fixer. You know, you're somebody who really wants to, you have vision, right? You see things a little differently. And you do want to leave the world a better place than when you arrived. Leave the place in better condition than when you got here, kind of thing. So remembering that 22/4 says that you're intended to create something that's going to support humanity. Now that could mean building a school or an orphanage or a food shelter or something to that nature, or it could mean simply creating a website, you know, a supportive website or a collaborative of some kind, right? But what it doesn't mean is that you have to do this by yourself. Remember, we get double 2s, right? So the 2 says I have to find people who are as invested in my vision for humanity as I am and get them to help you to make it happen. So hopefully that will help you. Engla, 1955, that's a 2, 11 and 2 is 13, 18. So you're the 18/9. Here's another empath, and you've got the 2 9s going on because your life path number is the 9, and you're born on the 29th day, which equates back to the 11. Super sensitive. I love that these talks bring in all you energetically sensitive people. I hope, and please, guys, I'm not trying to sell you anything, but I do create these things so that I can help you, and we do have the Clarity Seekers community. So you guys who are the energetically sensitive, you need your tribe. You need to be supported in this. You need to know that you are surrounded by people who just get you. Because if you feel isolated, you can't get the work done that you so desperately want to do, right? You can't connect with the people that you want to connect with. So check out the event I've got going, the 6 Psychics Under One Roof. Check out my Clarity Seekers community. There's some really good specials on in there as well right now. But If you want to be connected to a group, if you want to be able to talk live with people, if you want to be able to share what you're feeling and never be judged, check it out. Check it out. That's why I created it, right? So I hope that you will join me there. You're welcome. Namaste. That's awesome. And you're welcome, Kimberly. Anybody have any other questions before I wrap this up? We've got all kinds of stuff coming up. There's all kinds of really cool stuff. I hope you're on my mailing list because I got some really good emails coming out. I've got a guide to gift giving coming out. So if you want to give gifts by the by life path number, okay, you want to be on my mailing list. If you're not, go to my website and just sign up for 3 things that your date of birth can reveal about you. You get a free video that's not on YouTube. But you also get on the mailing list, so you get the cool stuff as well. So if you want to hear from me occasionally, and I don't email all that often, but if you want to hear from me occasionally, check it out. It's kind of a neat place to be. Kimberly, 1976, 1 9 10, 17, 23, 5, 7. Oh, wait, no. 1 9 10, 17. 23, that's 5, and that's a 7, 7, 14, 15, 6. 15, 6. So this person, your partner is a 15, 6. So this is somebody who is uber responsible and very much the perfectionist, kind of sees things their way, but really very much about family and the home, family dynamics. Sometimes gets a little bit too involved with the family drama, can be a little too invested in what everybody else thinks, that sort of thing. But the 6s are generally really accommodating. You go to a 6's home and they just really welcome you in, and it's just a good place to be. They make really great friends. They make great counselors. They're good teachers, but they can get a little stuck because their need for perfection kind of gets in the way at times. But I feel that this person is somebody who's really quite sensitive and very much about the family. So cool. Cheney Bennett. I'm assuming that's, again, I can't tell because you just wrote 5-1. I don't know if that's May 1st or January 5th. But anyway, 1 9 is 10, 18, 24, that's 6, 11, 12, 3. This is a challenging life path number, Cheney. And I can't tell whether this is May 1st or January 5th because of the way that you wrote it, because I could have given you a little bit more information if I knew that. So May 1st. Okay, thank you. So this is somebody who really does want to be independent, does want to be original, authentic and whatnot, but they struggle between where they fit, right? Let me just look at this again. 10, 18, 24, 6. Yeah, 12, 3. So the sub-lessons are the 1, which is all about learning to be independent, but the 2 says, I've also got to learn how to be in a partnership. And the 3 says, yeah, but I have to learn how to be social and in a group. So they kind of don't know where they fit. And they're very, very, very hard on themselves. Very difficult, very hard on themselves. They raise the bar very, very high. So it's difficult for them sometimes to kind of feel where they fit. So it's not impossible. None of these things are impossible, guys. The 3 is a tremendous communicator, but they just have to learn how to be a bit more independent, take a few risks, to be a little bit more determined and confident. You know, when we look at sub lessons, and you guys, if you do join my Clarity Seekers, I sure hope you do someday, anytime. The Clarity Seekers community, I teach numerology in there, and the way that I teach it is very different. So when we're talking about Cheney's inquiry about May 1st of 1968, it's important to note that this person is a 12-3. They're not just a 3 life path number. That's not enough. We got to know what kind of a 3 life path number are they? Are they a 21-3? Are they a 30/3? Are they just a 3? Like, how we got to crack the code, right? So if you really want to know who you are, you got to know how to crack that code. If you're curious about your loved ones, if you're curious about your family and your friends and such and your coworkers, it's really important to understand, what did they place in their date of birth? What numbers did they choose? Because that is the code. We got to crack that code. So somebody who's got that 12-3 life path number, we know that the 1, they're learning how to be independent. They're learning how to be confident. They're learning how to be creative and to be assertive and not so codependent. The 2 says they're learning how to be a partner and how to manage their sensitivity, learning how to be a little bit more diplomatic, learning how to play nice in the sandbox, to be the 3, which is that social person who's confident and can express themselves. They're brilliant at expressing themselves in a creative way, and they're really good, solid communicators. But they have to overcome that 1 and the 2 to be that solid 3. Okay, so it's really important that we understand our sub lessons, and that's how I teach it. And we teach 4 times a month live in the community. So, and we've, everything's always recorded, of course, so you can always get your recordings afterwards. Yeah, that's your niece. Okay. Yeah. And it's not an easy life path number for sure. There's very few that I've read for that are 12 threes that kind of sail through it, right? The older ones, I guess. But again, that's why it's so important to understand what the heck did we sign up for. If you know what you signed up for, then you can laser in on the lessons that you chose to learn. You've seen me probably in some of the videos I've done in relationship to life path numbers. And the life path number of the 16-7 is what I am. It's what I believe myself to be. Now, it's possible if you add the numbers straight across, I would come up as a 34-7. Well, I know I have no trouble expressing myself and communicating. I wouldn't be out here doing live events if I had trouble expressing myself. So that 3 doesn't make sense to me. The 4 says I've got to be accountable. I've got to be on time. I've got to be organized. I've got all that. So that 34-7 does not make sense to me. So the method that I teach in numerology brings me up as a 16-7, which means I've got to learn the 1, which is about developing confidence. God knows I had to do that before I could do this, right? That I get. The 6 vibration is learning how to manage my need for perfectionism. That's a big one for me. It's very difficult for me to overcome that need for perfectionism and judgment. And it's learning how to keep balanced. I love what I do. I do what I love and I love what I do, but there's more to life than just doing this all the time, right? But this is where I land all the time. So I have to work hard to establish that balance so that I can be the 7 that I want to be, which is that spiritual teacher. So my lessons are quite different, right? And it also brings in that karmic debt. Yay me. I'm not sure what I was doing that day when I signed that contract. Anyway, okay, I got a couple more and then I'm going to let you go because I got readings I got to do this afternoon. So let's see. We got Hurricane Force CE1, your sun, September 5th, 2002, 9/9/18. So your sun is an 18/9. Now, by the way, guys, if you go to my website and click on resources, there's numbers from 1 to 9, all really written out, whether it's your personal year, whether it's the day you were born on, whether it's your life path number. I've got it all in there for you, so you can check that out. Just AnnPerryNumerologist.com. So Hurricane Force CE1, it's 18/9. So this person, your son, is very much a humanitarian, very sensitive, very intuitive, very empathic, could be very frustrated that people don't necessarily see things his way. He really needs to be of service in some way. Very, very creative, could be quite musical too. A really good writer. Your daughter, 1 and 9 is 10, 19, 24, that's 6, and that's 8. 7, 7, 14, 15, 6. She's a 15/6. So same description I just gave earlier on. The 6 is the perfectionist. The 6 is typically somebody who loves animals, very sensitive, loves their home, loves their family, would throw themselves under the bus for their family. And needs to learn balance, needs to learn what she's responsible for and what she's not. Step away from the family drama if it's not your responsibility. So, Pharaoh, Pharaoh, let me just see here. 1981 minus 10, 18, that's a 9, that's a 10. No, you're a 13/4, Pharaoh for real 80, in my opinion. You're a 22/4, so big need to create something for humanity on some level. Esther, your son is March 25th. Oh, he's a rock star. Everybody born on March 25th is amazing. Just saying. So 1985, 1 minus 10, 18, 23, that's 5. And 3 is 8, and 7. Oh, you know what, guys? I'm getting myself. I know when I got to get off when I can't do this anymore because my brain just goes too fast. Just a second. I got to write this down. 1 minus 10, 18, 23, which is 5, 8, 10, 15. So this is 15/6 again. 1 minus 10, 18, 23. See this? See how many times I have to do this over and over again? Do you know what that's indicative of? That's a 7, right? 7s have to do this over and over again because they don't trust. 1 and 9 is 10, 18, 23, and 2 and 3 are 5. 7 and 5 is 12, 13, 14, 15, 6, right? I had it the first time. So that's that 15/6 we just talked about. So So Pharaoh for real, 80. Yeah. So you're that 22 4, right? 1 9 is 10, 18. That's 9, that's 10. No, I'm sorry. You are 13 4. I'm sorry. You're not a 22 4. You're 13 4. Sorry. Again, my time is up, guys. So I want you to go, Pharaoh for Real 80. I want you to go and watch my video on YouTube on the 13 4 karmic debt. That will really help to explain a lot. The trick for you is to recognize that, yeah, you're going to see obstacle after obstacle after obstacle because you're kind of guilty of being a little bit lazy in a previous lifetime. So you want to make sure that you are applying yourself better this time, focusing on the details. You're probably little bit of a workaholic because you know you've got that debt to pay back where you weren't really the workaholic in the previous lifetime. But they will throw obstacles at you, and it's up to you to decide how you're going to overcome that obstacle and how you respond to the obstacle. 13-4 has a tendency to wear the victim t-shirt, right? Until they figure it out. See, I'm not saying you specifically, but those with the 13-4 karmic debt have a tendency to kind of sit in the victim t-shirt and the victimhood in the half-empty cup because all these obstacles are happening. And they're like, oh my God, well, of course this is happening to me. It always happens to me. Shit always hits the fan with me, you know? So we got to make sure that you're looking at that and going, what can I learn from that, right? How do I perceive this? I mean, okay, so you got a bigger bill than what you were expecting. All right, so what did you learn from that? Or what can you gain from that? One of the tricks I did for many years when I was really struggling financially was when I go to into the grocery line to pay for my groceries. I mean, who goes into the grocery line going, wow, I can't wait to pay $200 for my groceries. Woohoo! Nobody does that, right? And that's a negative vibration. It's a low vibration. You're feeling kind of, because you got to pay out all this money for these groceries, especially with the price of food being what it is right now. So rather than going to that place of, oh, frig, this is like costing me a fortune. How about be grateful for the fact that you got the money to buy it in the first place, right? Or you have the credit available to you with which to buy it, if that's the case, whatever, but turn it around. When you go through that cash, rather than, regretfully paying for it, be grateful that you can pay for it. Be grateful that it's available. I mean, you could be living in the Ukraine where nothing's available, things like that, like really dig deep. And I feel that, that's good advice for anybody, but for those who kind of sit in that 13-4 or any 4 energy, has a tendency to kind of come from that half empty cup. So I'm just encouraging you to look at it differently. Hopefully that helps. Okay, so Susan, ready? Last one we're going to do here. So 1 and 9 is 10, 15, 20. That's 2. And 7 is 9. So you're a 10-1, Susan. So this is interesting because, again, you've got that 0 in there. Make sure that you check out my video on YouTube. I just type in turbocharger because I did a video on the number 0. The 0 relates to turbocharging the energies around it. Okay, so in your case, you were a 10-1. So you're turbocharging the 1 on either side. The 0 says I have to get in touch with my intuitive gifts. The 1 on either side says I need to really work on my independence, my creativity, my authenticity, my originality, and the list goes on and on, right? So check out that turbocharger video. That might help you out a little bit. So what else can I tell you guys? So be sure to check out the Clarity Seekers community. There's a really good special on there right now. I want you guys in there because I have so much fun hanging out with you. Wouldn't it be cool to do this over Zoom rather than typing all these questions? It'd be kind of fun to see each other and talk to each other every month. And that's anywhere from 4 to 6 times a month, right? So I would love to see you in there. So check it out. And the last thing I'm going to mention is, don't forget, we have 6 psychics under one roof. We've got Tira Whitford, who's a master empath. She gets you guys. Like, I'm not kidding. She kicks serious ass. She gets you guys. We got Laura Warren. She's psychic medium. She had her own TV show called Sightseers. She's my 1-800 go-to girl. She's amazing. Susan Saucier, spiritual life coach and medium. She's got some great courses. She's an amazing coach and she's an amazing medium as well. So if you want to, hang out with one of your loved ones, I'm sure she could probably bring them through for you. Annette Dalou, Akashic Record Reader Extraordinaire. Check her out. She's infinitesoullove.com. Fiona Black, Transformational Coach. I don't think there's not a course that she offers I haven't taken because she is so ridiculously intuitive. She can help you guys. I know that. And of course, myself, I'll be there. So we're all going to talk about what the heck's happening in 2023 globally. And then we're going to open up the program. So all of you guys who are in there who bought your $47 ticket to see 6 psychics under one roof all at the same time, you guys will be able to go in there and actually talk to us and ask questions and whatnot. And we are going to do our best to get through everybody's questions. And it's not uncommon if someone like Tira, for example, is answering some question that you've asked, that all of a sudden maybe Laura Warren will go, ooh, I've got something for her. Something just came down, right? So all of a sudden you get 2 or 3 people who are sharing information with you. This is a very, very unique opportunity. You can't miss it, because 2023 is going to be a 7 universal year. This is when we're going to figure shit out in 2023. This is the year when we're going to figure out who we are, why we're here, what the heck we're supposed to be doing. It's a pause. This is going to be a pause where you're going to have to take some time out, and you're going to need a little bit of support through that, right? So that's what we aim to do for you. So I'm really hoping that you will consider joining us. There's the website to go and check that out. And that's it for today. My gosh, I talked about a whole lot more stuff than I intended to, but it was fun hanging out with you. Again, I just got inspired to jump on, so I hope you guys are okay with that. And, any other questions or whatever, by all means, pop them in there, and I will try to get to them later today. But for now, I gotta go do some readings. So love you guys. Love you tons. Hope to see you soon at some of these live events or personally, wherever. Just be really cool to hang out. Take care. We'll see you soon. Make it your best day ever. Bye for now.